You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Thursday, 6th March 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice. Yes, we shall, and be glad in it.
Good morning, and my name is Akinlabi Holder. I hope that you are up and refreshed and you have recovered from the carnival activities that took place on Monday and Tuesday. And we're ready and we're raring to go. We have a lot to discuss this morning, and we're glad that you are here with us.
Right, Akinlabi, our viewers know that I am by no means a carnival person, so I was not on the streets.
Right.
In fact, I was on the beach.
Okay.
But what was carnival like for you?
I think that the carnival was a good one. I liked the fact that there was a lot of traditional mass. We seem to be having that shift, that focus going back into traditional mass, and I really like to see it. I know some persons were disappointed in the numbers of persons participating in the carnival, but at the same time, I think that the mass itself was pretty good.
What I really want to find out, Akinlabi, is how much times you jump up. That's why I'm coming to.
No, ma'am. I was there for work. I didn't jump up at all, but I still enjoyed seeing the mass on the road.
All right. Well, I'm still getting the reports coming in. As I said, I was not on the road, and I was hardly on social media this weekend. But the reports are coming in, so I will continue to listen to see what is happening out there. But before we get into all of those conversations this morning, ladies and gentlemen, we have to head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Anna, here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, March 6, 2025. Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin declared Carnival 2025 generally safe despite 7 homicides between March 1st to 4th. He credited law enforcement for the event's success, noting a 31% decline in homicides compared to 2024. While expressing dissatisfaction with any murder, he thanked the public for supporting police efforts. Acting DCP Kurt Simon highlighted positive public feedback and increased security measures under the ongoing state of emergency. Home invasions also declined by 74%, but Benjamin urged landlords to conduct background checks on tenants to enhance safety and prevent crimes linked to rented properties. Up next, Samantha Richards, a tabulator for the Tobago Unified Calypsonians organization, has been dismissed from her role after stating that Marshall Montano was leading the Road March race. Tuco assured the public that results are based strictly on statistics and that Richard's comments were unauthorized. Tuco reaffirmed the integrity of the competition and clarified that her statements did not reflect the official results. However, soca artist Fayon Lyons Alvarez criticized the premature disclosure, questioning the professionalism of the tabulators. Lyon Alvarez expressed disbelief on social media, calling the situation a prank and urging officials to maintain transparency and fairness. And finally, Pan American Health Organization is working with Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago and 7 Latin American countries to combat obesity in the region, which has the world's highest prevalence of overweight individuals. With 67.5% of adults and 37.6% of children affected, obesity increased the risk of non-communicable diseases. The initiative aligns with the WHO's 2022 Acceleration Plan, focusing on food regulation, school nutrition policies, and promoting physical activity. PAHO warns obesity rates could reach 73.2% by 2030 and continues to support the countries with technical assistance and policy innovative to address this growing health crisis. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bianna, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, I'm going to bring it in on the Carnival conversation this morning. A little birdie told me they saw you someplace about, and I just want to confirm, I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I don't want to take gossip or rumor. What was your Carnival like, Bianna?
It was a bit restful, Adana. That birdie who probably said they saw me, but see me heading to work on Monday and Tuesday.
All right. What do you think in terms of, Akinlabi was talking about, people are saying that the numbers are a little bit low. What are you thinking about the Carnival itself in terms of the display and the presentation here in Tobago for the national leg of Trinidad and Tobago Carnival?
Well, as he said, bringing back the traditional mass, that's a plus, within the years we would have strayed from that, so that's a plus in bringing back that. But in terms of the participants, I believe something needs to be done there.
For me, I'm thinking we have the same conversation every year, and I know that there is contention between the National Carnival and the Tobago Carnival.
Yes.
And if memory serves me right, the reason why there is a Tobago Carnival is because there was already a strain in terms of people not participating in the National Carnival.
Okay.
So I don't see the two of them as competing. I see one being the answer for one. And if we can use the National Carnival strategically to ensure that there is engagement here on the island, perhaps target another group instead of trying to target the entire of Tobago to participate. Target a specific group so that we ensure we have that type of buy-in. I'm hoping that the powers that we can hear and be a part of the conversation and have some type of strategy moving forward. And no matter what you do, in fact, people will always say, some will say yes, they are for it, some will say they are against it.
Yeah.
But conversations could be had and we could kind of make decisions as to how we're going to move forward. But I feel as if sometimes we make some empty noise and we just need to revisit the noises that we're making to see how best we can, fix situations that we are faced with, instead of just rambling on and not providing a measure of, relief where that is concerned.
The noises.
That's right. So, it's cool long time. So what's happening with Tobago updates? Screw you guys, how all you're cool. I already cool, I'm already cool.
Well, I cool myself too, so I don't really need.
Why is everybody denying their participation in the Carnival? One
Because
talking about work and the
none.
next one talking about work. Right, but all in all, we give God thanks for life, and this morning we're going to have conversation with the TTPS to see what the stats are there.
Yes.
For the most part, as far as I'm aware, it was a relatively safe Carnival here on the island of Tobago, and as we continue to move in, we're in Lent and we're heading on into International Women's Day, and all types of things are still happening. So we here at Tobago Updates, of course, will continue to bring information to our viewers far and wide. So, Bianna, what your plans are for the weekend? I know today's Thursday, heading into the weekend. What your plan to do, seeing as you didn't jump up and you don't need to cool down, what are you going to do this weekend?
More rest.
More rest. All right. Well, Bianna, thank you so much for joining us on set this morning and bringing us the news in 90 seconds.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs.
All right, we say happy birthday to Arundel Brewster. Happy birthday, Mr. Brewster, a well-known person within the media fraternity. We wish you God's richest blessings. We wish you love and people that cherish you, spend the time with you, and that you feel blessed. Have a good day, Mr. Brewster.
All right. And next celebration is the one and only. Can I have a drum roll? Can I get a drum roll? Our very own reporter, Joshel Dan, we want to say happy birthday to you. Look at Joshel now. You all seeing the screen? Are you all seeing the screen, viewers? This is our Joshel Dan. Joshel Dan started off here as an intern and now she's a full-time reporter here at Tobago Updates Television. And we say happy birthday to you, Joshel. In fact, can I just tell our viewers that as we entered into the month of, I think it's February, not to forget anything, Joshel ensured that her birthday was marked on our board, on our assignment board. So nobody could dare forget. Joshel, happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful day today. We're going to find some cake and some ice cream, and we're going to celebrate life. So happy birthday to you, my dear. And of course, if you are celebrating a birthday as well, and we don't have your photo, we still join in the celebration with you, whether it is a birthday, an anniversary, a promotion, a graduation, a new job, whatever you are celebrating, we join in the celebration with you. And we remind you to put God first and to give him thanks, for he is the sole reason why there's even anything to celebrate. And of course, in the midst of life, there's also death. And today we join with Sherwin Winchester. As you might be aware, Sherwin Winchester, he unfortunately lost his both parents one day apart from each other, and the funeral service takes place today. The funeral service takes place today at 11 a.m. at the Santa Rosa RC Church in Arima. Our condolences goes out to Sherwin Winchester and all his family and his loved ones. We will rally around him and show him the type of love that he needs in this difficult time, right? Akinlabi, who are we having conversations with this morning?
All right, so this morning we are having conversations with Inspector Kathleen Sterling of the TTPS, and she will be coming in to give us the TTPS updates, as well as to have a conversation about unsupervised underage youths in the carnival. We know we see them, this issue raising its head every year, and we're going to discuss it with Inspector Sterling this morning. We also have on set this morning with us Kelvon Morris, minority leader and area rep for Darrell Spring WIM, and he will be coming in to give his 2 cents on National Carnival in Tobago.
All right, viewers, of course, we do hope that you can stay with us while we have the conversations this morning. As you are aware, we just came out of National Carnival here in Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the happenings here on the island of Tobago, and we do hope that you can be a part of the conversation. So whether you are viewing right here in Tobago, whether you are in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, England, all of Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, wherever you are, we do hope that you can join in with us. We say thank you so much. You are the reason why we are number one. And up next, we have Inspector Caitlin Sterling. She's up next. She's in studio and ready to have the conversation. But before we do that, we have to go for a break. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be. From April 17th to 20th, the rhythm, the soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with melodies from heaven. Melodies from heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now, or visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. And we have in studio with us Inspector Caitlin Sterling of the TTPS. Good morning, Inspector Sterling.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Holland. Good morning to our viewers.
And how was your carnival this year? It was work?
I work very hard for the carnival.
All right, so you're here to give us some TTPS updates, some statistical updates about the operations of the TTPS.
Okay, so within the carnival season, we still had our crime updates taking place. However, we're seeing that we're having a decrease in violent crimes. We're talking about the gun crimes and the shootings, the woundings. We had a decrease. But however, we've seen an increase in our property crimes, which we're talking about the break-ins, larcenies, dwelling houses. So on one aspect, we have a decrease, and the other aspect, we have an increase. So we asking persons, especially during the carnival holidays, carnival season, we see persons leaving their homes to go to parties and reveling, and persons capitalizing on those opportunities to break into persons' homes. So we had a lot of break-ins during the carnival period. However, what we asking persons to do is, we do some target hardening in terms of putting proper locks on your doors, securing your house, having proper lighting around the property, cameras. I mean, a lot of us take cameras for granted, but it helps a lot. Even though persons might be smart enough to use masks and stuff like that to cover their face, but it do help in the solving of these matters. So yes, we know we went and we had a good time, but we must secure our surroundings and our valuable property.
Okay, and I heard that you said that more of the violent crimes are down, is down. How much of that would you say is accredited to the activities of the TTPS, TTPS and Joint Army patrols and exercises during the SOE? Well,
as you know, we need SOE and we have the additional help of the Defense Force.
Yes.
So in that aspect, it lessened the violent crime because we've seen more officers out on the streets. We're doing more patrol, more house searches. So it really reduces the crime in the violent crime in Tobago. We have a 26% decrease of violent crimes in Tobago, and that is a great increase in comparison to last year.
No, I know you spoke about the break-ins and persons taking more caution, but in the experiences of the TTPS, is it that the majority of the break-ins are due to, let's say, a laissez-faire attitude by homeowners or property owners?
Yes, Tobagonians, we have a laissez-faire attitude when it comes to our house because we are accustomed, leaving our places unsecure and going. But the climate has changed. Persons use it as opportunity to break into your place. So you might have, the lock might not have been locking properly, or we might just leave the louvers open or the windows open, not locking them. But now we have a different climate where persons are using this as opportunities to get into private homes. So we're asking persons, be a little more aware, do a little more target hardening, lock your doors so that we could eliminate the break-ins. Because I'm at the Sherburne Road Police Station and I could tell you we're having a lot of break-ins, especially in the Plymouth area.
Right.
A lot of break-ins. So, we're asking persons to be more aware and secure your homes properly.
Because, that was going to be my next question, as in if it's a particular region in the island that is being targeted with these break-ins. Does it seem to be like a lone wolf crimes, or is it seem to be organized by a gang of persons?
Well, I wouldn't say organized by a gang of persons, but just opportunities. But Tobago is known for property crimes, which is break-ins. So that's our highest crime. We call that our tower crimes. So we have a lot of break-ins, right? But I think persons, we need to do better in terms of securing our spaces.
Okay, and in terms of detection rates concerning these property crimes, these break-in crimes, is it that the TTPS has been very successful in catching the perpetrators, bringing them to the courts towards justice?
Yes, we have for the period within review, we have a 36% detection rate presently. And, we always striving to do better to increase that detection rate, right? But we're working hard, the officers are working really hard, and we're solving a lot of the crime. But then we have a lot of repeat offenders, because we having persons being arrested, taken before the court, and then they are back on bail. So then the crime, just repeat the same crime over and over. And then we have some new kids on the block that we don't know about, so they're not in the system. So, they're kind of evading us, but we're working hard to solve these crimes.
One of the issues with the repeat offenders, or even first-time offenders, do you see any sort of pattern in terms of a recurring motive for these break-ins? Is it to feed a need? I know sometimes persons may do these petty crimes to probably feed a drug habit or something of that nature.
So, you see, we have the Carnival period. So, a lot of persons want to go out. They want to dress up nice.
Right.
They want to be out there. So, at this time, we have an increase in the break-ins, because persons weren't taking items, selling items so that they could feed their habit, right? So, Carnival, we'll have an upsurge in break-ins, items being stolen to sell, Normally, we'd have an upsurge in robberies, but this Carnival, we didn't have that upsurge in robberies. So I guess that was attributed to the officers being out there, the defense force, and they have the powers now that they could search. Not just the police alone could search persons during the SOE. So the soldiers are out there and they're also searching. So that's an additional help. That's why we see a decrease in the robberies for the Carnival period.
Now, Inspector, I know you spoke about homeowners and property owners taking preventative measures. But are there any mitigating measures that the TTPS can take or did take during the Carnival period to sort of minimize these property crimes? So
what we did, we had a lot of walkabouts within the communities, talking to homeowners, giving them tips how they can safeguard their property and their house. So we did it in each district, each station district. A lot of that was done to aid in helping these owners treat with safeguarding their property.
Okay. And then conversations with these homeowners and in the walkabouts, did you get the sense from the homeowners that the perpetrators of these crimes might be people that they're familiar with, people within their communities, or is it strangers coming into the communities and perpetrating these crimes?
Most times, strangers coming into the communities, because, we have a lot of, long ago you could have said, I know this person, yes. I know this person. Now we're seeing people in your communities that you don't even know. So then when persons are at work, they use that opportunity to get into persons' spaces. So, we ask persons, to identify persons who they believe might be perpetrators. And if you see something, say something to us so that we could able to treat with it.
I know that you spoke about utilizing cameras and lights on the outside, proper locks and that kind of thing. And one of the things that Tobagonians pride themselves on a lot that separates them from homeowners or property owners in Trinidad is that we don't really have to utilize burglar proofing and that kind of thing to protect our properties. Do you think that it might become a necessity now on the island that homeowners should seek to implement burglar proofing to properly protect their properties?
Well, yes, since crime has changed, we need to change our mindset also. And as you said, we believe that we don't have to have burglar proof and we don't have to have as our counterparts in Trinidad, but that is not so. Crime have changed. So we need to change with the time. We need to have burglar proof. We need to have proper locks. We need to lock our doors. This must happen.
Okay. I want to just touch back on the situation with the violent crimes, right? With the violent crimes, it said that it has been down significantly in Tobago. What has been the feedback from persons within the communities or those designated hotspots in those areas to the response of the TTPS and the Army patrols in those areas?
Well, well, most of the communities welcome the TTPS and the Army joint patrols within the areas. So we have like the Lescoto Golden Lane area, and we have an influx of the TTPS and the Defense Force patrolling rigorously up there. So, you know, we see the decrease, and the villagers, and they are really appreciative of the police and the police presence in those areas.
Okay, so we just want to shift focus a bit now to Carnival and the age group or the demographic of some of the participants in Carnival. And we see it's a recurring theme. We see a number of underage children participating in carnivals, particularly like in juvenile celebrations and that kind of thing. I know some persons feel uncomfortable about it. Is that sort of a legal issue in terms of the age of participants in Carnival?
Okay, so hold on. What I must say, we had a safe Carnival in Tobago, right? The police were out in their numbers, the defense officers were out in numbers, so we had a relatively safe Carnival in Tobago. However, we saw, especially for the Codler Hall Juve, we saw a lot of children reveling within those bands. And, you know, we asking promoters of these events, you know, to censor the ages of children in these bands. Because we're talking about alcohol, we're talking about drugs happening within that space. And if we are to protect our children, we cannot have underage children parading in these bands. We have what we call the Kiddies Carnival that is catered for children. So we asking promoters, band leaders, and even parents to ensure that children participate in Kiddies Carnival, and adults participate in the Juve celebrations that catered for adults. Because we had a lot of instances where children were hospitalized because they were too intoxicated. They don't know themselves, and you know, they give the emergency personnel extra work because we have to cater for security and looking at these children. So parents have to be more responsible in sending our children out to celebrations. We cannot send children where alcohol is being used or being shared at that in those instances. So we need to do better.
So in the cases of those instances where children had to be hospitalized because of alcohol consumption, who holds the legal responsibility for that? Is it the promoters, or is it the parents who allow the children to go to the events in the first place?
I think all of us share a responsibility with our children. We cannot leave it up to one group of persons, although the parents are responsible for your children's well-being and where your children go, right? But as a band leader, you should know who you're taking into your band, who are you registering in your band to play a mass. And it's not about the numbers to say, well, yes, I have 100 persons, but out of the 100 persons, 50 were children. That is not good enough. We need to be more responsible. And because we've seen even a lot of children leaving, running away to go into the bands, and it's the mud band and the Codler Hall Juve, right? So parents have to be more responsible and take care of our children. In instances like these, we have the gender-based, the Children Authority that will step in and interview these parents to find out how, you know, why the children was in this situation to cause this to happen. But After that investigation, then we see what direction it goes. But parents have to be more responsible for their children, especially for the carnival season.
So currently, those cases where children were intoxicated, they have the attention of the authorities in terms of criminal investigations?
Well, we wouldn't say criminal as yet. We're doing investigations and then we see where it goes. Because there are instances that children will leave home and the parent not aware that the child have left home. So there will be an investigation, and after that investigation, we see where it goes.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Inspector Sterling, for being with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Inspector Sterling, Inspector Caitlin Sterling, giving us the TTPS updates and speaking on the issue of underage children in the Carnival celebrations. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. But do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Your friends and your families want to get in on the conversation as well. We'll be right back after these messages.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi. Thank you so much for staying with us. Before we get into our next conversation, of course, we have the photo of the day. The photo of the day for you today, and we do hope that you can figure out where this photo is taken from. Before we wrap the conversation this morning, we will reveal to you where this photo was taken. But in the meantime, do you think you can guess? This photo is courtesy Terence Onro. He sent in this photo, and we do hope that you are able to guess it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head on into our next interview this morning, and we switch gears a little bit. We're going to be speaking with Minority Leader and Assemblyman Kelvon Morris this morning as we talk about the National Carnival, the Tobago edition of the National Carnival of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Mr. Morris, and welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Combi, and let me say a special good morning to all of Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course, a pleasure having you on this morning. Before we get into the conversation, how was your carnival season this year?
I had a quite enjoyable carnival. I was able to enjoy the national festival both in Trinidad and Tobago, and it was really a great experience for me and my family.
Right. Well, I'm happy to hear that. And we're going to head on into the conversation. As you are aware, we are in the age where information is at your fingertips, and especially with the advent of social media where people can, express their views, their opinions, whether they are for or against. And we hear a lot of conversations about the National Carnival and the Tobago leg of the carnival. Some people are saying that it is dying. Some people are still enjoying it. And some people have recommendations and suggestions that can make the event itself more lucrative and more beneficial to the persons who want to stay in Tobago to enjoy. Over the years, we have seen where a lot of people from Tobago head across to Trinidad for the National Carnival, and in my opinion, if I'm not mistaken, that is the reason why the October Carnival came on stream to kind of to bridge that gap between what is happening nationally and the Tobago-centric carnival. And I know you have your opinion where that is concerned as well, and we want to talk a little bit about your position where the Tobago aspect of the National Carnival is concerned. So let's get into that this morning.
Well, my position is also reflected in the PNM's policy position, and the PNM's policy position has always been based on our stakeholders' engagement, that the two carnivals can in fact coexist and both can also complement each other. Of course, the Tobago's participation in the National Carnival does mean that it requires us to do some introspection as to what works, what does not work, and therefore build a product around the things that Tobagonians enjoy and can leverage during the National Carnival. And therefore, we also have our October Carnival, which is our own unique Tobago-centric festivities that also allows us, in a real sense, two bites at the cherry. What we have seen, and to my disappointment, especially this year, is that there have been a clear watering down of Tobago's participation in the national event. And it has been watered down to the point that it seemed and appeared haphazard, incoherent, and there seemed to be a lack of proper planning. And that would have caused some chaos, some confusion in the space. For example, I think it was on Carnival Monday, there was talks of whether Carnival is on in Roxborough. Roxborough is known for their Monday Carnival for senior bands and night mass. And they were seeing information to and fro, whether it was on, off, on again, and so forth. So there seemed to be a lack of planning. As a matter of fact, to my dismay, I have not seen anywhere where this National Carnival was launched in Tobago. I was able to view in places like Arima, San Fernando, etc. They launched Carnival even as part of the National Carnival. And traditionally in Tobago, we will also have a launch that signals to all of Tobago and to the world that Tobago is participating in the national event, and that didn't happen this year. So that also created some confusion as well.
All right, Mr. Morris, I know you're able to highlight the things that didn't go well in terms of, what we could have done and what we should have done and what we did not do, which of course resulted in what you think as a missed opportunity. In fact, if I could go to your social media post, it says that the notion of destroying one carnival to build another is incredibly short-sighted. In terms of destroying one carnival, is it that you actually see the national carnival being destroyed in order to carry out the objectives of the October carnival? Is it that you're literally seeing that all the resources are being pooled in October and none at all in the national leg of the carnival? Is it fair to make that assessment?
So the reason that post came from robust discussions in the space, and there are some people, and I'm not just saying it is a position of only the current TPP administration, but there are some persons both in Tobago and Trinidad who believes that Tobago should have absolutely no business participating in the national event. And my position is that as long as we remain a union, the United Trinidad and Tobago, the national event should be celebrated nationally, including Tobago. And therefore, if we are celebrating the national event, we as Tobagonians got to recognize and got to liaise with stakeholders and have an appreciation as to the events that can, in fact, be properly marketed and have the kind of participation that will make all of us proud. When you have an event where you're seeing perhaps 10 and 12 persons in a band and you're hardly seeing any spectators, it makes you wonder whether the proper consultation and proper planning was put into it. And then, as you rightfully said, there are aspects of the carnival that are properly planned and participated. For example, the interdepartment is one such event. Of course, we have the stakeholders at Calder Hall who always throw their juve on a carnival Tuesday morning, and that is well attended. The stakeholders in Roxborough, they always put on an excellent night mass, and in fact, Roxborough at one point had one of the biggest juve festivities. People from Tobago West used to leave the West and go up to Roxborough. As a matter of fact, I know Trinidadians who actually left Trinidad to come to Tobago to play juve because of what is offered. And therefore, we know the mud mass by itself is a seller. That is something that has its own natural patrons who look forward to that, and people participated in droves. So therefore, it tells us there is still an appetite for activities to happen in Tobago. What we need, and as I said in that post, what it needs is the right leadership to ensure that we can structure the events in such a way that people are aware from very early what is happening, and we can market it. Because truth be told, there are persons in Trinidad who prefer to be in Tobago for Carnival, and not just for the relaxation, but also to participate in what Tobago has to offer. And there are people even outside who actually look forward to coming to Tobago and have that unique experience, because the traditional side of the carnival is what Tobago should really be marketing to the world and to the country during February. And of course, in October, that is where we have the commercialized version, because as you recognize, in October, there's no room for the students. And of course, we don't want to disrupt school during that period. So the Kiddies Carnival is also a big aspect of the Tobago Carnival during February. You also have the issue of competitiveness. For us to continue to really preserve the culture and preserve the art form of mass making, we have to incentivize those persons who are involved in creating mass in such a way that they can, in fact, see some remuneration through competition. And we know in October, that is not facilitated, because what you have is a more commercialized pretty mass where people simply pay for their costumes and there is no competition. So therefore, this is why the PNM's position is clear, that the two can exist, the two should exist, and what we require is proper leadership.
All right, and talking about proper leadership, leading me into my next line of questioning. When we're talking about utilizing the resources in a way that can be maximized, that we can all benefit, both carnivals living and thriving here on the island of Tobago, do you believe that the resources, especially for the national carnival, the resources coming from the central government, because remember, this is now national, this is not just Tobago, whereas the THA is responsible and Festivals Commission, they are responsible for ensuring that the funding is available for the October Carnival. Do you believe that the central government has appointed the resources, the necessary resources in such a way that will afford Tobago to have the type of carnival in the national aspect of it?
Well, I saw a number of persons having a lot to say about me personally participating in the national Carnival Monday and Tuesday events. And one of the reasons I took my personal funds and my personal time to go to Trinidad to experience mass in the way I experienced it was so that I can get a first-hand view of how things are done. And one of the things I recognize, whereas NCC is responsible for the overall management and funding of the carnival activities, what I also saw and experienced was the private sector involvement in the whole operations and funding of mass bands and their operations in Trinidad. I also want to make it clear that in terms of funding, you have to appreciate that when the THA makes their submission to Parliament, they make the submission with the inclusion of both festivals. Well, that should be what is expected, and therefore they would have an allocation for festivals, and under festivals you would have the carnivals, the two carnivals. So therefore, I don't think it is accurate to imply that central government is not providing the THA with the funding. It is how THA utilizes the resources that is of paramount importance. And it's about how you prioritize, how you are able to also partner. And therefore, the carnivals, what it requires is the THA to have a clear plan, clear budgets, and then also how you partner with the various stakeholders, including the private sector. You have people such as B-Mobile and Angostura and NLCB and Caribbean Airlines, etc. If you are able to, again, it's about leadership. If you are able to have the conversations very early, have the various partnerships and collaboration, then you would recognize that you will be able to fund your activities. Because, for instance, I have mass band leaders complaining to me that they receive for a section or to carry out one part or aspect of their participation only $900. And I'm thinking to myself, what could $900 do in terms of creating mass? That is, in terms of you buying all the material to produce mass. I had to personally give to a mass band person who wanted to register to compete. I had to support them by donating funds to allow them to pay. And so sometimes, when you see people saying that because you're not present, you're not supporting, I find it, it's laughable. I also, because you see, people need to be balanced and people need to be fair as well. I noticed that there was a clear absence of the Secretary of Tourism from the carnival activities. I was at interdepartment and I did not see her present. I also noticed she was not at the medium band finals. I also noticed that she was also absent on Monday and Tuesday. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, in the height of Tobago being part of the National Carnival, where was the Secretary of Tourism during all of these activities?
I am unable to answer that question for you, but I can tell you that we have to go for a short break before we continue this conversation, this very important conversation as it relates to things happening right here in our Tobago space. And it affects me, it affects you, it affects all of us. So viewers, we do have to go for a short break, but when we come back, we continue conversations with Assemblyman Kelvon Morris as it relates to Carnival, the National Carnival held here in Tobago. In the meantime, please help us to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Morning Show. Why is my tongue tied this morning? Welcome back to the Morning Show here on Tobago Updates Television. Before we continue conversations, we are going to tell you where the photo of the day was taken from. Courtesy Terrence on Raw. This photo was taken at Speyside, a beach in Speyside there. Yes, I hope you guessed it. And guess what? We also have another photo for you, Tobago back in the day. This one you have to guess before we wrap the show today. Back in the day in Tobago, can you figure out where this photo was taken? While you're guessing that, we're going to continue conversations this morning as we continue speaking with Assemblyman Kelvon Morris, Minority Leader. We continue our conversations about Carnival, the National Carnival of Trinidad and Tobago, the Tobago involvement in the Carnival. Mr. Morris, we were talking before, and of course you identified some of the weaknesses in the Tobago presentation of the National Carnival. You also highlighted some of the elements that you think can work to make this happen. How do you marry the resources that are available, whether it comes from NCC, Central Government, THA, Festivals Commission, how do you employ those resources that are available, whether it be financial resources, human resource, to ensure that you present something that is beneficial to all those who are in the space, and also not just who are in the space, but also to make it attractive, because at the end of the day, the presentation must yield some type of reward, some type of benefit. We don't want to stage a show where, as you mentioned before, that they are few in numbers, but how do we attract our own Tobago persons in the space and also persons from the outside who are looking for something that is unique and diverse here in the Tobago space? So let's say, for instance, you are given the responsibility as Secretary of Tourism, or you are given the responsibility as whomever the power lies with to ensure that we have that product here in Tobago. How are you going to utilize the resources, whether they are limited or whether they are in abundance, to ensure that the carnival, the national carnival in Tobago, is well attended and the buy-in is there?
Well, first of all, we have to have a clear position. And the position, as I said, for the PNM is clear, that both carnivals can, in fact, coexist and complement. Once that is the policy, then you have a strategy. The strategy is one which has to be fleshed out between stakeholders, and the stakeholders also have to be clear as to what they will be offering. The three main stakeholders of Carnival in terms of execution are the Trinbago, Tuku, and whoever is the mass band people, because those are the three elements of Carnival that really plays out itself. And once they are clear as to what they want to put on and the budget as to what would allow a successful showing of that, then you go into your implementation phase. And it's in the implementation phase you identify your human resource needs, and then you are able to also understand your stakeholder, your target audience. Who are the people we are trying to attract? If for example, Kiddies Carnival, if you're dealing with kiddies, you're dealing with parents, teachers, and schools. And therefore, once you are able to integrate the involvement of schools, and as I said in one of my posts, what I remember and recall why Kiddies Carnival was so successful, it was interrelationship and marrying of both the community and the school. So both the community and the school work together to produce mass, and therefore, because you had that involvement, people were invested in the whole product, and so persons came out. So you would have had the students participating in large numbers, and they have the community coming out and support, because it is your daughter, it is your son, it is your cousin, etc. And therefore, what this requires is for us to be able to involve all stakeholders, have the conversations, have the collaboration, and I think we will be able again to have the kind of carnival that we all can be proud of, and the kind of offerings that would make sense for the investment, because as you rightfully say, ultimately Carnival is a business and it's about dollars and cents. What I recognize in Trinidad, because Trinidad is a Mecca, and you will recall we spent over $500,000 to send people to Grenada to go and learn how to do Carnival, when Trinidad is right there, just a plane ticket away. All I did was required and requested of the THA plane tickets, and I funded my entire trip, accommodation, transport, etc. And I was able to get a full view how Carnival impacts from the very top, that is your businesses like Angostura, etc., to the very lower end, that is the man on the street selling his water, selling coconut water, the vendor selling food. I was able to see how many young persons were involved as marshals. The Carnival employs hundreds and hundreds of young people during that period. So it is one of those ways that you can clearly have that trickle-down effect very quickly, very impactful if done properly.
Mr. Morris, I'm going to ask this question, right? Is this the first year that you have noticed the National Carnival in Tobago declining or having this measure of impact? And I'm asking this question primarily because have you had the opportunity?
I would be very honest. I've been one, if you look at my track record, even when the PNM was there, who advocated, one, for us to have a review of how Carnival is administered in Tobago, because we know for the Tobagonians who can afford it, many go to Trinidad to experience what the Mecca, what the larger island is producing during the last final week of Carnival. And therefore, there has always been a challenge in terms of production. But Tobago, nevertheless, used to have really quality mass production. I remember the Changs, Miss Candice Chang, Mom and Day, having excellent production, the Melvilles from Roxborough. Even I remember Bunjin having excellent production. So Tobago have had quality mass production for quite some time. What you used to have perhaps sometimes is whether we are having the kind of participation, people involvement. And that is why I believed at the time, with having Tobago having an alternative carnival, that would have allowed us to have the influx of Trinidadians coming in to help to bolster the numbers. And so it is not to say that Carnival before was perfect, but it is also to remind Tobagonians that we also had, this is not a new phenomenon to Tobago. We had both in the National Carnival, and there was something called Tobago Fest, and that went on for some time successfully until Tobago Fest phased out itself, and we now have what we have in the form of the October Carnival. So Tobago having two carnival-like festivities is not unusual to the island, and therefore persons trying to say that we need to shut one down to have the other, I find is quite short-sighted.
All right, Mr. Morris, we appreciate your views this morning. And my final question to you is, having made that assessment over the years, being involved in even from the P&M aspect of it, and now with the new administration, having seen the trajectory and the way the carnival is being presented in Tobago, and having made your assessment, have you been able to have conversations with stakeholders in terms of what they think the missing link is and how we can bring back the carnival to what it used to be? Or is it that we should focus on something else to make it more appealing to our local persons here on the island, or to bring in persons as well to participate in the event?
The PNM's position is clear, and my position is clear, and that is why we've been having ongoing consultation with stakeholders, and that is why we can say with a level of confidence that both carnivals can and in fact will coexist and complement one another. We will bring the leadership, the mass people, the Calicans, and the fraternity. They will bring their creativity, and we will, when the PNM return, have two magnificent festivals that all of Tobago will benefit from and be proud.
All right, Mr. Morris, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for bringing your views and, of course, talking about our Tobago Carnival, the National Carnival, rather, and how Tobago participates in that carnival. We heard your opinions and your suggestions, recommendations, of course, for moving forward. Before we end the show this morning, of course, we have to let you know where the photo back in the day was taken. The photo back in the day, have you guessed it? I am thinking, and I am sure I am right, this is Pigeon Point. Yes, that is a Pigeon Point jetty there. Our photo of back in the day photo for today, Thursday, 6th March 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for staying with us even to the end of the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. But this is not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, which is Good Morning Tobago, and we do hope that you can stay with us. As you do, please help us to share the live. Share the live, share the live.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
What we are about to sign today will ensure that the three agencies work together, understand each other's role. There will be no duplication of efforts. Where one stops, the other begins. We cannot do it all, so we need the support. And this will ensure that we have things documented, set down in writing, where there's clarity.
The TRHA and the executive management of the TRHA is committed to providing the resources that are integral in making this collaborative effort work, because ultimately we are not the beneficiaries of this MOU. We are the stewards of the MOU, which is birthed in order to protect the children of this island.
We have come to the place where we see this not as a Children's Authority MOU, but as a tripartite MOU, where the three entities come together and we say, this is what we are responsible for as it relates to the nation's and the island's children. And that is critical, because it means that we now are taking full responsibility, all of us. We're not saying it's Children's Authority that's supposed to do that. We're not saying it's TRHA, we're not saying it's the division, we're not saying it is not my responsibility, it is yours. We are saying collectively, it is our responsibility to ensure that this child is safe.
Does three things. It reduces that interaction of the child with three different agencies, so we don't re-traumatize the young child. It provides a seamless legal coverage for the child throughout the entire case management process, and it helps all three agencies document this case appropriately, so that when it comes for the review, which may happen through the legal system, we have each other's role clearly spelled out and the documentation therein.
This is really setting the pace for what we really want here on the island of Tobago. It really is a passion of mine in terms of enhancing families and children. So this occasion right here is just the start of us really trying our best to see how best we could provide support for children and families with the different agencies that are involved that have signed here today. So honestly, I'm really, really excited. As we say, this is the step in the right direction for us here in terms of child protection in the collaboration with the THA and the TRHA here today.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin declared Carnival 2025 generally safe. Despite 7 homicides between March 1st to March 4th, he credited law enforcement for the event's success, noting a 31% decline in homicides compared to 2024. While expressing dissatisfaction with any murder, he thanked the public for supporting police efforts. According to DCP Kurt Simon, Acting DCP Kurt Simon highlighted positive public feedback and increased security measures under the ongoing state of emergency. Home invasions also declined by 74%, but Benjamin urged landlords to conduct background checks on tenants to enhance safety and prevent crimes linked to rental properties. Additionally, Samantha Richards, a tabulator for the Trinbago United Calypsonian Organization, TUCO, has been dismissed from her role after stating that Marshall Montano was leading the road march. TUCO assured the public that results are based strictly on statistics and that Richards' comments were unauthorized. TUCO reaffirmed the integrity of the competition and clarified that her statements did not reflect the official results. However, soca artist Fayan Lyons Alvarez criticized the premature disclosure, questioning the professionalism of the tabulator. Lyons Alvarez expressed disbelief on social media, calling the situation a prank and urging officials to maintain transparency and fairness. Finally, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, is working with Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago and Latin American countries to combat obesity in the region, which has the world's highest prevalence of overweight individuals, with 67.5% of adults and 37.6% of children affected. Obesity increases the risk of non-communicable diseases. The initiative aligns with the PAHO's 2022 acceleration plan, focusing on food regulation, school nutrition policies, and promoting physical activity. PAHO warns obesity rates could rise to 73.2% by 2030 and continue to support countries with technical assistance and policy innovation to address growth in health crises. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we want to thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Tobago. We want to welcome you back after the Carnival season. And this morning we are still chatting a bit about the Carnival here in Tobago and that National Carnival and what that looks like for us here on the island. This morning, as we have that post-mortem discussion, I have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with Mrs. Marin Ned of Marin Ned Band & Associates.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, you are a band leader here in the space, and we have chatted on a number of occasions about Carnival in Tobago. We've chatted about Tobago Carnival. We've chatted about the National Carnival. And from all indications, it seems that the band leaders and the Band Leaders Association, want the carnival to continue during the February carnival, or as we call it, the National Carnival. Now, we've heard conversations on all sides. Some persons saying it should continue and it should increase in quality. Some persons saying that it should look different and more attention, focus, and resources should be placed at the October Carnival. But we want to hear from you this morning.
Good morning to everybody. Glad to be here again. Well, I will be honest in everything that I'm saying today. It is our National Carnival, and band leaders of Tobago, that is how we make our monies for taking part in the October Carnival, because October Carnival, you put out more than you put out for the National Carnival. And getting rid of the National Carnival in the Tobago space don't make no sense. Because as we say, it is national, Trinidad and Tobago. And we look forward, we the band leaders here, we look forward in showcasing our little talent. It might not be as big as Trinidad, but we are getting there.
Understood. And we see you and your display of your mass band on the stage right now. When it comes to the support that you are used to and the numbers, we know that you usually have a big band or a huge support from the kids coming right up to some of the older folks. Are you seeing a significant decline in the participation?
Well, to tell you the honest truth, when I started out in 2023, I started out with 60 children. And
when you started out in?
Oh, 2003, sorry.
Okay.
2003, I slip of the tongue. I started with 60 children. And that was considered a medium band, but I wasn't small. So you had 2 medium band, myself and Dan McCremon. And then I moved from there and go to medium, and then I went to large. And then sometime, it started to dwindle down, but you still have to try to keep the faith, because it don't make no sense that you have 14, 15, 16, 20 small band and the prices is only from 1 to 8. It does not make no sense. So you have to try your best, which I do. I will send out letters to schools to try to see if I could get the children and them to participate. You will put a price, some will pay, some will not pay. But in all, I love the thing because I come from a family background in mass, and I still try to fight to keep it alive. So, you tell a friend to tell a friend, put it up on Facebook, Instagram, and believe you me, on Carnival, Sunday is where the band really grew, because my niece and my mother and them, they went out and asked people for the children who was on the esplanade watching, and say, would you like to play, have the children and them jump up with us, and they say, sure. And lo and behold, we end up with 100 and something children at that point in time. And some people were saying, are we having Carnival? We are not hearing anything. So all of that was a factor of getting children to gravitate.
Right. And even when you look at the numbers that actually come out and support the event, usually you have people lining the streets of Scarborough watching the parade. That did not happen this time around.
I wouldn't really say that it did not really happen. We had people, but then again, you can't blame band leaders. We are not the ones who's doing the advertising. Look at Roxborough. We are not the one that doing the advertising. There's only one band came from Roxborough, and that is Miss Riley Connection. Miss Luan Melville, she's not taking part this year. Her daughter did not bring Kiddies Carnival this year. So all the bands and them on a whole came from Scarborough region, around that region, Mount Thomas, going up. And I wouldn't say it was a disaster, but it was very hectic.
Understood. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this as we continue our discussion this morning. See you soon.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's week in review right here on 116.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now we return and we are still having our Carnival post-mortem discussion, and this morning we are chatting with Miss Marin Ned, who is one of the band leaders here in Tobago. And during the break we were chatting a bit about sponsorship and what can be done from both the private sector and the stakeholder side to increase the quality of the Carnival here in Tobago Now, the conversation is, we've heard people saying that the promotion wasn't done, Scarborough wasn't decorated, there wasn't the feeling or the spirit in the air of Carnival. However, during the weekend, spending time in Trinidad and observing the Carnival atmosphere, I recognize that a lot of what we call the Carnival spirit was funded by the private sector. You have the B-Mobiles, the Digicels, the Blue Waters, and all these corporate sponsors coming together to use it as a marketing opportunity to get the type of brand visibility that they want. However, when you look in Tobago, you're not seen as much as that. So is it that a number of the stakeholders need to have a deeper connection with corporate Trinidad and Tobago and have the hard conversation about that equitable distribution of funding to increase the quality of Carnival here on the island of Tobago?
I believe so because I wrote to corporate sponsors like B-Mobile, Digicel, National Lottery Board, Blue Waters. These same people didn't ask for much, but didn't got a response. But then when you're watching and you're listening the ad, they sponsored THA, right? So nothing didn't trickle down to we, the bands on the ground. It have some, like the Iconic Mass, because they are doing these things for a long time. So they would have got fully sponsored, but bands like myself who, just was doing the National Carnival itself, they find, well, hey, we don't want to waste we money on them because them ain't getting the maximum people of 500 or wherever. So we don't waste we time with that. We can't vex with them.
Understood. But what about the quality? Don't you think that a number of these corporate sponsors are looking for bands that produce at a certain quality that reflects their own brand? So is it that level of quality needs to increase in what your band and other smaller bands is putting forward to get the type of reception that is needed from corporate Trinidad and Tobago?
Now, being totally honest, when you watch like the Zane, the Iconic Mass, the Jade Monkeys and all of them, you can put all their section together and they look like one band. I want to be totally different. I look for certain masqueraders that, hey, they want to be comfortable in the skin and what I have to offer. right? Everything is not the beads, the bikini, the tongues, and whatever. I do produce that unless you ask for it. I cater for everybody. So you can't class all bands to be the same. You have to look for a band is like a Peter Minshell, you know? Being creative, not looking at all the bands passing and they look the same. So I think corporate sponsors needs to kind of adjust back a little bit and watch and say, well, okay, I see this band here have some potential. Let me see for the first year if we can assist them. You know, even if it's a 4,000 something, and see what they will do with it to make themselves.
Right. And usually the National Carnival is sponsored by NCC. But is it possible that the Band Leaders Association can come together outside of the THA and get the sponsorship among themselves and distribute it equitably among the groups so that you have financing from the THA, financing from NCC, financing from the Band Leaders Association, and then your own personal funding that you go about and source by whatever means, as opposed to putting the burden solely on the shoulders of the THA. And when the festival fails, we say, okay, this administration failed, or this version of the Tobago Carnival under this administration is failing, as opposed to seeing that over time, unless the resources are coming from different places and the source of those resources are diversified, then eventually the well will dry up.
Well, I could tell you under Tobago Mass Band Leaders, we have Road to Corporate Sponsor. We have, we'll be having a presentation from the organization. We have gotten trophies sponsored. We had little that, you know, they will corporate sponsors that put in something. Long time under the late Miss Wilma Bedlow when we were NCBA at that time. P-Mobile used to sponsor Tobago. You had Sunshine used to be sponsored, then Digicel came on board. We have businesses like Mr. Warner, Mr. Ken Hunt, they used to sponsor Hercules. So we had that in all used to, so it used to trickle down to the band leaders and them. We used to have 42 junior bands.
Right. But what do you say to the persons who say, listen, the climate post-COVID is so different from pre-COVID. And so a different approach is needed to diversify the entire thing. And a new creative strategy has to be created so that Tobago is not trying to compete with Trinidad, but to complement what is happening in Trinidad. How do you respond?
No. Through the years, persons from Trinidad come to Tobago, they do play mass with Tobago bands. They do. We do get people from Trinidad playing in Tobago bands. We will get some tourists come in and play with our bands and things. But Tobago culture is very different. The personality, the generation now is different. They will say, I ain't playing no mass, the child going camp. I had plenty parents tell me that. And lo and behold, you see the same children and they're jumping in another band.
Understood.
Right? So it kind of, some wouldn't come out and say, here, we're going to play with another band.
Okay. But okay, there are persons, as I said, creating a creative strategy so that Tobago Carnival doesn't compete with the National Carnival but complements it. Now, Tobago offers a number of different products to Trinidad. We look at the Modern Mud Festival. They have the Mud Mass taking place on Tuesday. What do you say to the persons who say, condense the festival, have all of that richness and the mass happening in October, and focus that National Carnival on those Tobago specific items like the mud mask and those things that are totally different from what's happening in Trinidad, so that persons come to Tobago for a Tobago specific experience, and then you have that larger festival with the kiddies carnival and all the kings and queens and all of those displays happening in October. So all the resources and the labor and everything goes to October, creating a huge festival that can compete with carnivals all over the world. And Tobago focuses on creating a Tobago-centric, smaller product during the National Carnival time that has that.
We already have that. That is why Tobago Carnival is small. It is not large. We don't have the heritage, which I am saying honestly right here now is dying also. We are asking, what is the purpose of Festival Commission? Festival Commission is supposed to work along with the other NGOs in trying to produce something for people to come from all over to see what Tobago have to offer. We have plenty to offer, but the festival is fighting down even the band leaders, the band association. You're fighting down. It just does not make no sense. No matter
when we look
what
at it
we
from
do.
an economic perspective, what if the Festival Commission is in a position to say, economically, the National Carnival in Tobago in February is not financially viable to Tobago? How do you respond to that?
You cannot say that. It is, but you have to work hand in hand with all the NGOs. Look, this year you had no THA pan champs. Nothing. You have people here in Tobago, is pan lovers, as small as it would be, will come out and look forward to supporting the bands of them. I have been to Antigua Barbuda for their carnival in August, which was my birthday. I had a room pump time. And they are not as big as Tobago. Tobago Mass was bigger than them. And I had a wonderful time. So we have to work hand in hand. You cannot be a say your festivals and you are fighting down. You come and you tell us a budget of 5.3, and up to now, the Tobago organization does not know what is our allocation. Lo and behold, we say a grant to assist bands. And when you go there, furthermore, they say 3/4. When you go, you give a small band $900, which a small band grant was $4,000. A medium grant for juniors was $5,000, and a large was $7,000. What $900 could do, what $1,200 could do, what $1,500 could do. Then a senior band, small was $5,000, medium was $9,000, and large was $12,000. You cut that down to $7,000 and you give us $3,000. What that could do?
Understood.
You're fighting down the culture and then you putting it on the band leaders, on the association, when you are the ones who help killing it.
Understood. Now, even in closing this morning, as we round up the discussion, is there anything that you want to recommend moving forward to assist with this national version of the carnival, as well as you currently preparing for October Carnival? What are some of the recommendations that the stakeholders want to make?
Well, I will start with festival. They need to clean up the act in order for the National Carnival to work, and even the October, because if you're saying you're looking at October, you're going to kill it. You are going to kill it. And corporate sponsors, all we are saying to corporate sponsors, a band like myself, right to you all, we don't ask for much, assist us along the way, that it will get bigger, better, and brighter. We say Trinidad and Tobago is the mecca of carnival, and we are trying to keep this thing alive, especially in Tobago. So all I'm saying, work with us. Work with us. And we do invite bands from Trinidad who would have that experience to assist other bands to get where we want it to be.
Right. But we look forward to you having one of those strategic partnerships come October 2025, and we hope that it will help you to increase the quality of your production this year and have a larger support.
I do hope so. So I send out the olive branch and let's see where it will.
Okay, well, we hope that you are successful. We have persons out there sending greetings to you this morning. Again, we want to thank you so much for being here and for all the work that you have been doing to contribute to Tobago's carnival culture and just the development of mass on the island. We want to give you your flowers while you're still here.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, because I'm the oldest band leader that's still standing for 24 years. All the rest has gone, and I'm still here fighting.
We'll keep fighting that good fight. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon.
I say, thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be. From April 17th to 20th, the rhythm, the soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with melodies from heaven. Melodies from heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now or visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Good morning, good morning.
a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. This morning we continue with a bit of our Carnival post-mortem discussions. This morning I have the privilege of sitting in studio with a man that is no stranger to Tobago Carnival and Tobago culture. We have with us this morning Mr. Opuku Wari, the president of the Tobago African Union. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Queen Chanel. And that's what you are. You are royalty in its finest essence. Yeah, well, this morning we're here to discuss the Tobago African Union. Now, we've been having what we call the ultimate after Carnival event at the Buku complex, the sporting complex at Buku, the goat racing facility there. Over the last 10 years, this event has been going on. And basically what we do is to showcase the cultural talent, the artistic talent of Tobago, the carnival talent, and we also showcase the indigenous sport of goat racing. So, and we appeal to the local, but also the many foreign and international visitors that make the regular pilgrimage to Tobago, trek to Tobago after enjoying Trinidad Carnival. So, Buku this Sunday from 2 p.m. we begin, and we have added, we do it with Calypso, we do it with Steel Pan, and we have added this year an athletic component. So we're going to have some of the young athletes who are from Lambo. They are based in Lambo, but there's the Simoy Hackett, the former Olympian, Trinidad and Tobago Olympian, who won a gold in who won a medal in the World Championship. She has been sending down a program to train these young ones. So we have a crop of young athletes coming up, and we use this event for them to showcase their talent on the track. So we have goat racing, we have running, but we also have Calypso. And what will be happening in Calypso this year is special. Rosalind Reed, who has made it to the finals of the National Calypso Queens and the National Monarch competition, would be the featured guest artist. And she will be unleashing not only her song for this year, but her barrage, her whole repertoire over the years, which we know is of the highest caliber. And we'll also be mixing her with Tobago Choki, who made the national semi-finals. And he has a monster song called Roundabout Turn. And we have also added the ever-popular Kenneth Thomas, better known as Punchin, who has a rip-tickling song called Caracas, too much, the whole of Caracas in Tobago, and that speaks for itself.
Understood. Now, we here at Tobago Updates, we truly support the move towards all these events that help to uplift Tobago, especially when there are visitors on the island, to ensure that persons could truly enjoy Tobago and all that Tobago has to offer. Now, personally for myself, I've been here and advocating for Tobago to have that post-Carnival calendar of events to engage persons that come to Tobago. And so the conversation surrounds Tobago's version of the National Carnival looking quite different to what happens in Trinidad, and not competing but complementing that. Tell us, what does your idea of Tobago during this time complementing the National Carnival look like for you?
Well, this is a wonderful question, because what we have to recognize is that Trinidad Carnival itself, the National Carnival that used to be centered in Port of Spain in Trinidad, has deliberately been moved away from Port of Spain or the eastern part of Port of Spain down to the west. So the Carnival in Trinidad now is on Woodbrook and places like that. So you have the Soca Dome, you have the Avenue and thing. While the places that produce Carnival before, like the Lavantiers, the Mova, the Belmonts, and so they kind of outside of the scheme of things. Now, and what is happening also in Trinidad is that the regional carnivals are getting bigger. like Cuba, like Carapachima, Arima,
Tuna,
Sangre
Tuna.
Grande, all over. So, and what we have in Trinidad now, this nonsense that Tobago Trinidad Carnival is idiocy of the highest order in my view. And I'll tell you why. In Trinidad, they have like the Point Forte Barodi. That is all bigger than Tobago Carnival. There's 28 steel bands down there. And other bands like San Fernando, they are doing the same thing too. And Bet Your Life, Arima going to do it too. I mean, Arima does it, but the places like Digo Martin that become boroughs, they will have carnivals. So you could have more than one festivals, one city showcasing and giving your art a chance to develop. What we got to do in Tobago is to seize the time. We know that after Carnival, there's a trek to Tobago. So we got to plan, we got to put on programs in place to capture this and really showcase it to the world. Because October is coming too much like a Trinidad Carnival in Tobago. We have to give opportunities for our the artistic fraternity in Tobago to showcase the talent. For example, steel bands don't play enough. In Tobago, every village should have a steel band in my view. And that is the work we got to do. Every village could have a calypso competition or something happening. Every village could bring out a mass band. But we got to do the work. We got to put on the work because the talent is there. Anywhere African people are, there is talent. Whether it's in the United States, Brazil, or on the continent of Africa or in England. African people, because being the first human to populate planet Earth, we have those genetics of talent, of abilities and so on. And so that the Tobago, this is why we're concentrating on after Carnival, so that we could get the Tobagonian artists to showcase their talent on before an international audience. So we are negotiating with 1996 Road March Monarch Marvin Lewis. I have a negotiation with him today to get him on the show. And what we're going to do now is to highlight the steel band, because you see steel band now is so important because steel band emerged from the African drum. In Tobago, they banned the African drums in 1796 after a revolt here. And in Trinidad and other Caribbean islands, the drum was banned because our foreparents used the drums to send messages of a rebellion and so on. And in the search for rhythm, they came up with tambu bambu, then they tried with dustbin until the Second World War, when the Yankees was leaving all the drums on the beaches, they made the steel pan. Now the steel pan cuts across language. It cuts across all language, so everybody, don't care where you come from, could understand pan. And that is where our concentration should be, in my view, even in Tobago, and showcasing our talent after Carnival. So what we're going to do is to put programs in place after Carnival. Assist the program. The state should assist us in doing this because it's very costly to do it. And we are a non-profit organization that just believe in consciousness and stuff.
But there is also the corporate Trinidad and Tobago that plays a huge role in helping to advance these festivals. When we look at the national panorama, all bands are backed by a corporate sponsor. So I think that it's time enough that we move away from the idea that when it comes to financial backing and support, that it always has to be a conversation of state or government-sponsored initiatives.
Well, you have a point there, but the problem with that is, in Tobago, there's no the economy here, our structure, the economic structure here does not afford the conglomerates, the big power companies to operate here. So if you go to a bank here to get some assistance, they will say they have to send it down to Trinidad, and they might send back 500 elsewhere. Now, and in Trinidad, there are the competition. For example, if Yuma or Tribe or one of them bands in Trinidad, or one of the big promoters in Trinidad, apply for funding from one of these companies, you think they wouldn't give you in Tobago before them, because they have this they still have this thing about this superficial kind of discriminative thing, so that it's a good idea that the corporate people should come in it, and that we could make an appeal for corporate Trinidad and Tobago, or corporate Trinidad, because Tobago are no real corporation. Tobago, our economy is still all over the place.
Right. So is it that the conversation has to switch to equity as it pertains to the corporate social responsibility of these big organizations?
Well, it should.
Because it can't be a situation where you are corporate Trinidad and Tobago, you also benefiting from Tobagonians who support these corporations, but yet all the funding goes to events, organizers, associations, and promoters in Trinidad. When Tobago also plays a key role in keeping the economy afloat, as well as the profitability of a number of these organizations.
Well, there's a conversation that is long overdue, and you're so correct, because the corporate Trinidad and Tobago have to recognize that you have a place called Tobago too. And in order to sustain, whether it's the social, economic, or even the spiritual outlook of the island, it is important for assistance from corporate Trinidad and Tobago to be placed here. And because one of the factors here is that because that Tobago is a kind of more monolithic society, it's a more one society than Trinidad is a divided kind of thing. So it's easier in Tobago to facilitate certain forms of development because of our population settings, rather than Trinidad would be more difficult. You go have this pulling and tugging. So what we need in Tobago really are voices to put that Tobago position forward more positively and more defiantly in a way. We have to have some of our, I would take a thing on, some of our politicians here need to have more clarity of thought, need to have a wider form of ideological and philosophical depth in their projection in order to project the Tobago cause, So I think we got to urge our political leaders to develop develop a serious ideological position where Tobago is concerned, not only in a parochial sense. For example, if you see what's going on in West Africa now, all the countries, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, all these countries, they are seizing power and putting their people in charge. We got to do that in the Caribbean too. We have too much backward leaders in the Caribbean that frustrates not only economic development, but also cultural development. They have to tell the corporate people, look, what they have to help out.
Understood. And so even as we round up our discussion this morning, we are talking about the annual After Carnival festivals, which is going to be happening right this Sunday. That's on the 9th of March at the Buku Integrated Facilities. If you know someone or you know a group of people that are coming to Tobago for that post-carnival experience and you want to ensure that they get a taste of the Tobago culture, be sure to invite them to go to that Buku Integrated Facility, a festival that's happening on Sunday. Now, it's gonna be a wonderful time, but it's also going to be a culture-filled time. We have steel band, calypso, goat race, and athletics happening, and we are going to see performances from Tobago, Chalky, Rosalind Reed, and a number of other persons. Guys, this is the 10th year.
10th year.
The 10th year that this is happening. And if you know of visitors, hotels, if you work at the hotel, you should tell the guests, hey, listen, this Sunday, there's something big happening in Tobago. You want to get that real, true Tobago experience. Come out and experience it. And what time is it starting?
It's starting at 2 p.m., because, we have the time for the goats to, when they run a race, they have to rest up. And then in between, we will have performances,
Excellent. Yeah. Well, we want to thank you so much, President Opukowari of the African Union here in Tobago. Guys, we want to thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break right here and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon.
Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause?
Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter Weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be from April 17th to 20th. The Rhythm, the Soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with Melodies from Heaven. Melodies from Heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now or visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Again, we want to thank you guys so much for staying tuned this morning and being a part of all conversations and discussions. Now, first of all, we want to remind you guys or notify you guys that this morning there was supposed to be a women's debate taking place at the Assembly Legislature that was supposed to start at 10 a.m. Now, this debate has been postponed, and it will actually take place on the 13th of March. That's next week. So the debate that was supposed to take place this morning, that was supposed to be broadcasted live here on Tobago Updates, would actually be taking place on March the 13th. Additionally, we want to remind you that this weekend, as the Carnival Cool Down celebration continues, there are a number of events that's taking place here on the island of Tobago. So if you are looking for something to do, remember that there is a partnership that's happening between FAO and SAM. On Saturday, SAM is taking place at the 4 Acres Villa in Bonaccord. This is on Saturday at 6 p.m. and this is a food inclusive event. This event would include a number of A-list soca artists, a spacious venue, top tier DJs, and coolers are invited. So guys, from 6 p.m. on March the 8th, you would be able to participate in those celebrations. And on Friday, Friday, FAO is happening, the cooler edition, and you would see performances from Bungie Garland, Voice, or local star Juby, as well as Fayan Lions, and this is happening at 7 a.m. on Friday the 7th. That's this Friday. That's actually what do we say here on the island? We say tomorrow Friday. That's tomorrow Friday from 7 a.m. So when you drop the kids off to school or to daycare, we are heading straight to Pigeon Point. So that's a daytime cooler party that's happening tomorrow from 7 a.m. If you have not gotten your tickets as yet for any of these events, do not worry. Tickets for some are available on Island ticketing, as well as Lost Restaurant and Bar, East Bay Fashions, Pure Vanity Clothing, Barcode, 7th Avenue Apparel here in Tobago, as well as Jade Monkey Bar. If you're trying to get tickets for that FAO event, you go down to Jade Monkey Bar and you would be sure to get those tickets for tomorrow. I cannot say if tickets are still available at the venue. The last I heard, the venue was almost packed to capacity based on the amount of tickets that have been sold. So if you are still interested at this point, I do suggest that getting your ticket today might be the best thing to do because they are almost sold out. So that is happening this weekend, and a number of other activities. Remember that on Sunday, if you are looking for something that's a little bit more culturally viable for you as a visitor here on the island, there is that goat racing festival that's happening on Sunday, 2 p.m. at the Buku Integrated Facility. That will be packed with a number of cultural performances. There's some athletics happening there, as well as steel pan and calypso performances. Guys, again, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussion. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, as I round off this morning, I want to remind you that International Women's Day debate that was supposed to take place this morning at the Assembly Legislature would be taking place on March the 13th. Again, have a great day.